Abend to each and every one of us. Let me firstly take this chance to say willkommen zu unserer heutigen Episoden. Welcome to our episode for today. Mein Name ist Frederik. Guys, ich bin Lehrer Frederik, yeah? I am teacher Fred, and I would like us to proceed and see on today's topic coverage. So first of all, we're going to be covering Berufe. Let me just point out something real quick. This one here, Berufe. Ein Moment. Now, the topic that I'd like us to cover today is on Berufe, as you can see right here. And Berufe simply means jobs or professions or occupations. Yeah, there is something I'd like to stress that I see so many people making mistake about. So please grab yourself a pen and a paper and let's get straight into it. So Berufe. Now, one thing that I'd like you to take note of is that you realize when you're talking about professions in German, you realize that mostly feminine tend to have the ending in. If you're just tuning in, let me say willkommen to you, welcome to you. Please get yourself a pen and a paper. Let's get into it. So as I was telling you is this, you realize when you talk about professions in German, the feminine tend to have ending in, as you can see in my examples, right? There was this NB down here. I don't know if you can see this NB. Yeah, there's this NB which says mostly, is it clear? Let me just bring it a bit closer. This is the NB I'm talking about right here. That mostly the feminine add in. Remember, it's mostly, right? Mostly the feminine add in. So I have given some examples here. Oh, Bitteschön, Christian, yeah? Bitteschön. So I've given some examples so that you clearly see what I'm talking about. Let me just bring it closer so that you can clearly see. Now, the first example I have is Artiste. Artiste is a doctor, yeah? Artiste now becomes Estin for feminine, yeah? Artiste. Now, feminine, you see, there's an umlaut and an ending in. Estin. Please note the pronunciation difference, yeah? Artiste, Estin. Then there is architect. Now, architect, female is Architektin. Architektin, okay? Then there's the Angestellter. Angestellter. Now, for this one, it does not add ending in. Instead, for feminine, you remove the R, now becomes Angestellte. Remember, I said down here, mostly the feminine add in, not always, mostly. All right. Okay, here's another example I have is Autor. Now, Autor, female is Autorin. Autorin. That is an author. All right. So you're seeing from these examples that mostly feminine we add in. All right. Okay, let's see some few more examples. I have Bauer. Bauer, female is Bäuerin. You can see male is without umlaut, Bauer. But for female, you now see there's an umlaut on A. So the pronunciation changes, now becomes Bäuerin. Bauer, Bäuerin. Farmer, right? Then there's the Bäcker. Male is Bäcker, female Bäckerin. You add in. Bäcker, Bäckerin. There is Busfahrer. Busfahrer now becomes Busfahrerin. In, yeah? Director, 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 Direktorin. Direktor, Direktorin. Then there's the pilot, Pilotin. So you're seeing that mostly they are adding in, yeah? Lehrer, Lehrerin. Pilot, Pilotin. More examples in this. We have Lehrer now becomes Lehrerin with an in. Student, Studentin. Yeah. Lehrer, Lehrerin. Student, Studentin. Schüler, Schülerin. Right? Then look at the other one. I believe you can see clearly. Yeah? So Schüler, Schülerin. Then you have Krankenschwester. Krankenschwester, sister. Now the other one is Krankenpfleger. Are you saying you cannot see, Christian? How about now? Can you see clearly? I believe you can now see, yeah? So Krankenschwester, nurse, female nurse, and then Krankenpflege, a male nurse, right? Then there's this other one. A moment. Fischer, Fischer, Fischerin. This one is a fisherman. Fischer, Fischer, female, Fischerin. All right. So from the examples I've given, I believe you can see my for there. From the examples I've given, you realize that in terms of professions, mostly the feminine, they have the ending in. Remember, it's mostly, not always. Doctor, Doktorin, Pilot, Pilotin, etc. Yeah? So a challenge for you guys. Here's a challenge for you. I'd like you to go ahead and give even more examples in the chat box. Please go ahead and give as many examples as you possibly can in the comment section below. I've only given a few so that you see the pattern that mostly the feminine tend to have the ending and you can go ahead and give even more examples in the comment section. All right. So maybe before we conclude, there's something I also want to point out here. And let me just bring it closer. So when you want to ask somebody, what are you by profession? How do you ask? You ask with was bist du? So was bist du or sind Sie von Beruf? So was bist du or was sind Sie von Beruf, which means what are you by profession? You answer, ich bin, I am, ich bin, and then you say your profession, okay? Okay, the last phrase I'd like you to see is this. Let me just bring it up a bit. The last phrase is, was möchtest du werden? This phrase, was möchtest du werden means, what would you like to become? What would you like to become? You respond, ich möchte, that is, ich möchte, and then you say the profession, and then werden. Ich möchte, for example, I could say, ich möchte Lehrer werden. Ich möchte Pilot werden, and so on and so forth. So the challenge as we come to the end of the video is this. My challenge is this. Please go ahead in the comment section and type in as many examples as you possibly can about the various professions in German, okay? So as we conclude, please, I'd like you to know this as we conclude, yeah? Remember that for feminine, they tend to mostly add in, but not always. Mostly, they tend to in, yeah? Someone says, noch einmal bitte. So here, down here. What I was saying is down here, yeah? When you want to ask somebody, what is your profession? You say, was bist du? Either you will use bist du or sind Sie. Was bist du or was sind Sie von Beruf? What are you by profession? You respond, ich bin, I am, ich bin, and then you say, for example, I could say, ich bin Lehrer, ich bin Student. And then the last phrase is, was möchtest du werden? Was möchtest du werden? What would you like to become? What would you like to become? And then you say, ich möchte, I would like, and then you say the profession, werden. Ich möchte Lehrer werden. Ich möchte Pilot werden. I would like to become so and so. All right? So with that said and done, that brings us to the end of today's short reminder of class. Please, your challenge is type in as many examples as you possibly can about various professions in German. All right? Well then, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's short reminder video. Remember to always practice. Das ist alles für heute. Tschüss und gute Nacht.